Salut! You've just registered your French business with INPI. Bravo! Félicitations! And now you're starting to receive some documents. The first one being a summary from INPI, and it's like 2 or 3 pages long, quite impressive. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to read this document. It's really important because there are a few words that you have to pay attention on this document because there's a temporary one and a permanent one. And also, you probably will refer to this in the future whenever you have some question on your tax setup. So we're going to look back into this to see what are your social charges or income tax options that you have chosen. You may also want to know how to read 2 documents, one called the extrait cabis and the other one called the INSEE attestation. If you want to do this, then I'm going to refer you to the other video that I've recorded on this topic. Too many documents to read at the same time. For now, we're just focusing on the INPI registration document. Okay, so let's look at this document. You can see we are on the guichet unique des entreprises. This is the synthèse de dépôt. So that's the summary of the business registration that you've done, which was given to you once you validated your business registration. So it has the INPI logo and the République Française. But the thing that I really want you to pay attention here on this one, it says dépôt de synthèse, which basically means for now, it's what you have sent, but it hasn't been validated yet. So it's not your official business paper. So you can see it's like 4 pages long. You've got that nice French République Française stamp or logo. And it basically says what is the reference number of your registration, the type of business you've registered, and the date you've registered it. So as you can see, I've hidden loads of data because it's private. So it's loads of blanks everywhere, but here there should be the registration reference. So if you have a question about your registration, you can contact INPI. Then it says the type of business here. So here we have entreprise individuelle. It's a sole trader. If you did register or your accountant registered an earl or a sole, it would say so here, and the date you handle the registration. And then it starts going on about your business information. For instance, here saying it's a sole trader, and here you can see the reference of the business registration. So I'm just going to stop with this particular document and show you the tiny weeny difference that's going to happen once basically INPI has checked information and the document you validated. If you're a profession libérale, meaning like consultancy, teaching, coach, all the intellectual based activities, the registration goes very quickly because within the day, because there aren't any legal documents to check except from your passport or visa. Usually INPI quickly transfers it to INSEE, which pretty much automatically give you a CREN number, and then 2 days later you get the CRET number. CREN number 9 digits, CRET number 14 digits. They're both referring to your business unique ID number, but the CREN is the main business and the CRET is the site as to where you're located. So let me just show you, if I can, I'm going to decrease this one and show you this document. Ta-da! It looks like nothing has changed. But basically, I know something's changed and I want you to pay attention to this because that's what I'm teaching you to do, to be very specific and to know what to look for. Look here, we have synthèse. Synthèse, version définitive, formalité, validée. That's it. This one says you're it, you're the official business. It's the final one, the definitive version, and it has been validated by INPI, so you are okay. Your business is in the process of being registered. So really, you can see spotting the difference between those two was really tiny weeny. It was that one sentence. It's just that now, as I'm going to show you here, we do have more information about your business, but it is pretty light. So the difference between the two is pretty light. So let's look at the details. So as for this one before, we still have the reference number of this business in terms of the file for the registration, saying that it's entreprise individuelle. It's the name here. Again, I've hidden all the private data. Here's the name of the person when the registration was handled. And then we start going about a summary of the business registration. So the name of the customer, well, the entrepreneur, saying that it's creating a business, is a sole trader. So if you started a French incorporated business, Earl, Sol, Sas, Sazu, it would say so here. This one says, yes, this is a micro-entreprise. What is the main activity? Is it regulated or not? In this case, this person was a profession libérale. I can't remember, I think it was consultancy or marketing services, so it's non-regulated activity, it's not a farming activity. When was the registration handled? The reference, and here you can see this person for this file when I handled the registration, it's a profession libérale, so it was pretty fast, and basically within a day or later that day, we did get the CREN number for the business. So the CREN number, the first 9 digits, and they also confirmed the activity code 7022Z, which is for consultancy services. So then the date of the registration, and again, they're confirming again that reference number. So once you start reading this, basically you just check here which type of business you're under. Is it a micro entrepreneur, yes or no? What is the identification and the IPE code? And I'm going to keep scrolling down. So here it's your personal details. Make sure there's no spelling mistake on your name, surname, date of birth, the country, nationality, whether you're married or not. So those, unfortunately, if you spot at this stage that there's a spelling mistake, you're going to have to wait until the registration is fully done, so then you can go back to INPI and ask them to date the information. Then the volet social de l'entrepreneur, so here it's relating to the health cover for the entrepreneur. So in this case, this person did have a social security number, so there is one here. This person before was an employee, so it's régime général, they were already with CPAM. And do they have another activity? No, they don't. So if you are creating your French business for the first time, well, basically here there won't be any social security number because you're brand new to the system, and this is going to be created later on in a few weeks, or even a couple of months to get the final number as part of your business registration. So we're moving on. And then is this person, so what we call statut non sédentaire is for someone, for instance, who works on the market, so vente ambulante. So this person doesn't work on markets. Phone number, email, and email. And here we get to one of the sections that I like, or that I want you to pay attention to, is régime micro-fiscal. So here, if you are a micro-entrepreneur, basically it should summarize whether you went for monthly or quarterly declaration. So whenever you forget or you're not sure what you said, basically when you dig out this document, there's already a few things that you can look into. You have the volet social and you have the régime micro-social. Then we have the address of the business. You can ignore all of this, contrat d'appui, protection of your main property. By default, your main property is protected in France, but you have the option to cancel this protection. I don't know if somebody does it, but you have the option to say, please go ahead, do take my house if needs be. And then sometimes people do sign other papers to protect the other properties. And in that case, they had to do a legal contract with a notaire that they did supply with the registration. This part is about établissement. So établissement is basically referring to that particular site. I did mention CRET and CREN number. Again, I'm going to refer you to another video if you want to, where I explain in details the difference between CRET, CREN, extrait cabis, attestation INSEE. But basically, établissement is the specific location where you are. So it's the last 5 digits of your CRET number. Here that person, I've hidden the CRET number, but at the end you would see 00010 for that particular person. The APE code, whether it's the main activity. For now, we can skip these bits. Bit more information about, is this the main activity of the business? So basically, when you did register your business, you had to give details about your primary activity. If you had something different, you would have filled something else for secondary activity. So for each of those, you have all these lines with all the, it just shows you the drop-down menu that you had on the registration, but basically saying, okay, this is my main activity starting from such a date. The activity description is this one, and it goes under those subcategories when we relate to the APE code, the business activity code. So here it just says this person was a profession libérale non-regulated. That's the full description that we gave. Conseil en développement, marketing et gestion de projet. And then we had to give 1, 2, 3, 4 levels of activity description in order to help INSEE to find the right activity code, which they did, since it was the one we mentioned before, 7022Z. Okay, so we're now moving to another section which I want you to pay attention to, because again, it's one of the locations where you look at your documents to see, okay, that's important information. I forgot what my regime was, but it's written there. So basically, this is the information about your business that is given to the tax office. So just know that depending on your activity type, you're going to be called, for micro entrepreneur, you might be called régime BNC, that's for profession libérale, bénéfices non commerciaux, so that's consultancy, programmers and so on, or you might be régime BIC, BIC, bénéfices industriels et commerciaux, that's for you if you buy to resell, shop, food, gîtes, artisan. So in this case, this customer was a consultant, so it's régime BNC, it's a profession libérale, bénéfices non commerciaux, and this person decided not to be VAT registered, so en franchise de TVA. If you create a French incorporated business and you've opted for régime normal or régime réel for the TVA, again, it will be written there, so you can double check this information. And then we have option pour le versement libératoire. So in this case, this one only applies for micro entrepreneurs, since only micro entrepreneurs can decide to either pay the income tax at source, meaning they pay an extra percentage at the same time as their social charges in order to pay their income tax, or they can pay 1 year later. And for this customer, we decided to pay at source at the same time as the social charges. And then we have the contact details for this person, the number of documents that were uploaded with this registration, and depending on your type of business, there will be more or less documents to upload. For profession libérale, there aren't many, while if you are buying to resell, e-commerce, gîte, artisan, there's quite a few documents to upload, and it will be listed there. So then, did you allow for information to be shared with INSEE, the National Directory of Businesses, and did you allow it for other people to be able to view your details and maybe rent them if they want to? Usually don't recommend to hide them, simply because in the future, when we need to check your business setup and see everything's okay, if it's hidden, we can't even access it online ourselves. It's more tricky, and often if you need to have a visa renewed, we need to have an up-to-date attestation, and it's just easier to get if you manage to share, if you're allowed to share your details. So this is what it looks like. You can see 4 pages, and really the parts where I want you to focus are your, you will see quickly your identification, your SIRET number, your business, so here your SIRET number, your activity code, and then moving on to the volet option fiscale, and we had the other one which was volet social de l'entrepreneur. Whenever you have a doubt, you don't know what you chose relating to your VAT, whether it's decided to pay income tax at source or not, this is where the information is. So this is how you read an INPI business document. So this is how you read your initial INPI business document. Again, if you want more information to also know how to look at the extrait cabis or insert attestation, you can look at this video that I've also recorded, and we'll also show you where you can get an updated version of your extrait cabis or your insert attestation. À bientôt!